Welcome back, my top 10 fans. Today, we're going on an incredible journey to explore some of the most mysterious and fascinating ancient civilizations that vanished without a trace. And I mean literally without a trace. You might think we know everything about these cultures, but trust me, there's still so much we don't understand. The stories we're about to dive into are not just mysteries, but mind-blowing historical puzzles that leave us questioning what could have possibly happened. And if you enjoy this kind of deep dive into history, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and leave your thoughts in the comments. All right, enough introduction. Let's get started and uncover some secrets from the distant past. Grab your coffee or tea because we're starting with the Maya. If you've ever heard of the end of the world prophecy, you probably know about the Maya. But let's dig a little deeper, shall we? The Maya were one of the most advanced civilizations of pre-Columbian America. They were excellent astronomers, mathematicians, and architects, and they created intricate calendars that were so accurate, they almost predicted the future. Well, kind of. Cities like Tikal and Palenque were once bustling centers of culture and power. But by the 9th century, many of these cities were abandoned. What happened? Well, the prevailing theory is that a severe drought, coupled with deforestation and soil depletion, may have turned their once thriving cities into ghost towns. Picture this: a civilization that could predict the stars and build towering temples was undone by something as simple as bad weather and poor resource management. It's a harsh reminder that even the most advanced societies can falter when the environment doesn't play nice. But hey, maybe the Maya were just tired of all the calendar calculations and needed a long vacation. Next, let's talk about one of the most famous and most powerful empires of all time, the Roman Empire. The Romans didn't just conquer land, they built roads, aqueducts, and monumental architecture that still awe us today. Their legions were unstoppable, and their empire stretched from Britain to Egypt. But here's the thing: the Roman Empire, despite its vastness and might, didn't last forever. In the 5th century, the Western Roman Empire collapsed, and it wasn't because some mysterious force wiped them out. It was a combination of factors that brought this once great empire to its knees. First, the internal decay. Think corruption, political instability, and infighting weakened the empire. Then, the relentless invasions from the barbarian tribes like the Visigoths and Vandals didn't help. The once imposing legions were no match for the constant waves of invaders. And let's not forget the overexpansion. The empire stretched itself so thin that it could no longer defend its borders effectively. Imagine running an empire the size of a small continent with no smartphones, no internet, and barely enough resources to maintain control. Eventually, the empire crumbled under its own weight. Perhaps the Romans just thought, hey, we conquered everything there is to conquer. What now? And decided to call it quits. Either way, the fall of Rome was the end of an era. Now, let's take a look at the Sumerians, a civilization that, despite being one of the first to develop writing, left us with more questions than answers. The Sumerians lived in the region between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, in what is now modern-day Iraq. They were pioneers in many ways, inventing the cuneiform script, building massive city-states like Ur and Uruk, and creating complex legal systems. But at some point, around 2000 BC, they just disappeared. Their cities were abandoned, their culture vanished, and we're still not entirely sure why. Some archaeologists point to environmental factors like changing river courses or salinization of the soil, which made farming impossible. Others suggest internal strife, with rival city-states waging war against each other. Perhaps, just like in many ancient societies, the Sumerians found themselves facing a perfect storm of challenges that they couldn't overcome. It's a humbling reminder that even the first great civilizations of humankind couldn't escape the whims of nature and the chaos of internal conflicts. And then there's Egypt, the land of the pyramids, the Sphinx, and one of the most enduring civilizations in human history. The Egyptians ruled for thousands of years, building monuments that continue to inspire awe today. But what happened to the civilization that gave us the Great Pyramids? Well, while Egypt didn't exactly disappear in the same way as some of the others on this list, its power and influence did decline significantly over time. By the end of the New Kingdom, around 1070 BC, Egypt began to experience a slow, gradual decline. Invaders like the Nubians, Assyrians, and Persians took their toll, but it was internal issues that really sealed Egypt's fate. The pharaohs became less powerful, and internal divisions weakened the nation. It was a case of a mighty civilization being slowly chipped away at by outside forces and internal decay. Maybe the Egyptians just reached the peak of pyramid building and thought, well, we did it. What's left to conquer? Either way, by the time Alexander the Great arrived, Egypt was no longer the superpower it once was. The Olmec civilization, often considered the mother culture of Mesoamerica, is another example of an ancient society that rose to greatness only to vanish mysteriously. The Olmecs are famous for their colossal stone heads, some weighing as much as 40 tons, which remain one of the greatest archaeological enigmas. The Olmecs were the first to develop many of the cultural elements that would later influence the Maya and Aztecs. But by around 400 BC, they mysteriously disappeared. Why? Some believe the Olmecs were victims of environmental changes, perhaps a catastrophic flood or a shift in the region's rivers. Others think they were displaced by new civilizations moving into the area, or perhaps even internal strife led to their downfall. Either way, their disappearance remains a mystery, and their colossal stone heads remain as silent witnesses to their vanished greatness. Then we come to the Minoans, a civilization that flourished on the island of Crete around 2000 BC. The Minoans were a seafaring people known for their impressive palaces, vibrant art, and advanced technology. Their most famous archaeological site, the Palace of Knossos, was a sprawling complex with frescoes that depicted a society at its peak. But around 1450 BC, the Minoan civilization seemed to collapse. Many theories point to the eruption of the Thera volcano, which devastated the island and possibly caused a tsunami that destroyed Minoan cities. Some believe the Minoans were also weakened by invasions from the Mycenaeans, who eventually took over. Others argue that the eruption triggered a series of events that led to the collapse of their society. Whatever the cause, the Minoans vanished, leaving us with only the remnants of their incredible culture and a trail of questions. I could keep going, discussing the Khmer and the lost city of Angkor, or the Hittites, who vanished into history without a trace. But I think you get the point. Ancient civilizations don't always disappear with a dramatic bang. Sometimes it's with a whisper, a slow decline that we can only piece together from the evidence left behind. What do you think? Why did these great civilizations vanish? And what did they leave behind for us to discover? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Give us a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Who knows what hidden civilizations we'll uncover next?